How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the WorkAway Podcast. I'm your host, John Hindo. Today, we have a very interesting individual in for the podcast, local auto realtor, Talia Zaidi. Talia, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I love being referred to as an interesting individual.
Yeah, well, I mean, in our talking back and forth through email, you shared a lot about your journey and how you started and where you're at now. So, I mean, with your early start in business, starting a digital marketing agency back in grade 11, what inspired you to kind of make that leap, back then?
Well, so my first job was at Nike, and I was a retail associate there, and I worked there for about 4 years. And then when I was in grade 11, now I'm telling people how young I am, which this isn't good, but when I was in grade 11, COVID hit.
Yeah.
Near the end, and it was really sweet because Nike actually paid their employees during COVID, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But obviously, sitting at home, you're not doing anything. I started getting really, really interested in just like business, entrepreneurship, finance, all of that stuff, like personal finance. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is, I feel like, everyone's intro into that world.
Yeah, for sure.
Started watching all these YouTube videos and self-teaching myself, and I was like, hey, I never want to work for anyone else ever again.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I have agency over my life. I don't need to report to someone if I don't want to.
Yeah.
And I have the power to build my own streams of income. So I basically took all the time that I was just sitting at home during COVID doing nothing and self-taught myself marketing on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then I found this girl who basically, she had all these resources and taught you from start to finish how to start a digital marketing agency. Because at the time, there were digital marketing agencies, but it was still kind of newer. Like people, a lot of especially corporate companies weren't completely on board yet with the whole social media type thing.
Yeah.
And so I basically paid for her course and built it from start to finish. And really what inspired it was just not wanting to work retail anymore.
Yeah, no, 100%. I totally agree with that as well. Like
Yeah.
my first job, I'm going to date myself, in 2014 when I was in grade 9. My first job was to detail cars at Star Motors of Ottawa. So it's a Mercedes dealership on Hunt Club.
Yeah.
And my job is literally as a lot attendant. So I'm outside with a bucket and pail with a wash brush in the middle of the summer, washing these cars on the front line. And that job was really what pushed me to be like, I'm at the bottom of the barrel here. Yeah. I don't ever want to be washing someone else's car.
Yeah.
I want someone to wash my car from now on.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what drove me to, go to school, figure out my life, which I don't think if I had the structure of school, I wouldn't have been able to do it. It's not for everyone, but
it's motivational, but it's also like, I don't think, looking back now, I don't think anyone should skip those jobs too, though.
Exactly.
Because
100%.
Those are skills like customer service, learning, even though it's like you're working retail, you're selling people t-shirts. Like, and this is not a knock to Nike at all because Nike's a great employer. But it teaches you how, like, the basics of how to be in customer service, how to be in hospitality, how a business works from the inside out, like learning from my managers and all of that. So it's good experience. I don't think anyone should ever skip that because I think a lot of people will also kind of glamorize entrepreneurship and look at starting a business as something a lot more glamorous than it is. And I definitely learned that the hard way, especially getting into real estate. And I think that you kind of can walk before you run.
Yeah.
In terms of like, okay, learn while working the low paying jobs, the bottom of the barrel. And that way you can kind of pick up on how the business actually works and then go and start your own
Learn
thing.
all the different moving parts, how there are so many different moving parts, how accounting has to work with sales and everything. 100%. I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, looking back, it was probably a lot of faking it till you make it, in the sense of transitioning from, especially during COVID too, because I graduated college during COVID. So like, I completely understand, the sitting around not doing anything because nobody knew what was going on. So what did the fake it till you make it mean in those early days?
I have a saying that I always say, and it's that don't wait until you feel ready. because ready is not a feeling, it's a decision. So that's one of my favorite sayings, because I don't think that when there's something that you fear doing, or that is a risk, or that is a jump, if you're going to wait until you feel ready, you'll never start. You kind of just have to decide to jump into it, go head first, and like figure it out as you go, if that makes sense. So the whole fake it till you make it thing was actually kind of how I got my first client, because obviously I'm a girl in high school. Like I booked a call with a connection that I had through my mom, actually. My mom knew her, had worked with her. She said, hey, she's looking for marketing. Why don't you talk to her? And I hadn't even started my marketing business yet. I was just kind of freelance, like, oh, I want to get into this. So my mom didn't know her that well. So it's not like it was a strong referral. It was more just like, why don't you talk to my daughter? So I got on a call with her, and I basically just talked like I knew what I was talking about. And I think a lot of the time, the biggest thing is your charisma and your confidence
100%.
when you are going into meetings like that and trying to get a deal done. And if you are talking like you're shy, or like you're hesitant, like even if you have no idea what you're talking about, if you just say it in a certain tone, people are going to think you're right.
100%.
Now, that's not to say that obviously after I got that deal, I had to obviously deliver. So, but my whole philosophy with it was like, I'm just going to kind of jump in, fake it, pretend like I know what I'm talking about. And then obviously I have to deliver on that, but that just comes with learning. And that's how you learn, and that's how you start things. And that's how you, like, no one starts out knowing everything.
100%.
So yeah, just not, you don't have to wait until you feel ready. Just
and it's almost like that feeling of the nervousness when you're trying, I'm really not sure. That's almost the telling sign that you need to make that jump, because obviously when you're nervous about doing something, it means you either want to do a good job, or you're not, like, it's moving forward and change. Because there's only two things for certain in this world. You're going to pay taxes, and things are going to change.
Yes.
So, no, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. And not like resisting that change as well, or resisting the hesitation, because another thing people really respect, if you're like, I actually don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
But let me figure it out. Let me find out for you.
Exactly.
Everything is, especially with the internet and AI now, and like, you can learn pretty much anything. Yeah. So if you just start, you'll figure it out as you go.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that was one of the biggest things when I worked in telecom sales was, you're working with all these different IT managers who are asking like all these super specific questions about like, our data centers and, our fiber optic connections. And like, my job was to manage the relationship. We had sales engineers on the calls to help us. But if there was ever an opportunity where I was there and my SA wasn't there, then I would go ahead and, just be like, that's a great question. I actually don't know that right now, but I work with a solution specialist who can answer that. So let me ask him. And then it just goes to show that you're not going to lie to them. And it also helps in building that trust with your clients as well.
It's funny because, we'll talk about real estate, I'm sure, later, but when I got into real estate, and people would ask me like questions about a contract or something, I would tell them, I would say, I'm actually just gonna ask my lawyer. I'll get right back to you. I'm just gonna call my lawyer. I call my broker, my mentor. I'm like, Mark, what do I say to this? He's like,
that's awesome. Yeah, and 100% fake it till you make it, right? Like that's the big thing. If you come in confidently but you're unsure of something, just being able to, let me take that offline. That's 100% the approach. And I guess, how did that first client help shape your confidence and approach to the business?
Well, because this is the other side of it. Yes, fake it till you make it, but also make sure that you can actually do it. And so I knew that I had the skills and I had the resources to actually deliver and do a good job. So she really, she became like the biggest referral source in my business.
Oh, that's the best.
It was this one client, and she was like, wow, I really like your work. And then she kind of started mentoring me. She's like a very connected person in the business world, especially in Toronto and here now. And she kind of started mentoring me and introducing me to all these people. And then it was literally, I learned the power of referrals because I never once had to market my own company.
Wow.
And people, like, obviously that sounds a little bit ironic because it's like you're a marketing agency and you don't do any marketing for yourself. But it's like my marketing is my work. My marketing is the relationships I build with my clients.
Yeah.
And you have to teach people how to refer you.
Yes.
That's a big thing is people don't really, you have to tell them, hey, I run a referral-based business. I do a good job because I get referrals. I do a good job. Like I stay in business because of your referrals. So if you want me to keep doing a good job for you, please like keep me in mind if you know anyone. And it's like, it sounds so bold to say, but if you just tell people that, they're like, oh my gosh, of course, I'll totally keep you in mind. So she really became a mentor in my life. She's actually an executive presence coach. Oh, cool. So she started coaching me on executive presence and just really started mentoring me. And then she introduced me to all these different people and all these different companies that eventually started using me.
Yeah. So could you explain executive presence a little bit for those maybe who don't know what it is?
So it's basically, and I'm not an expert in executive presence, so this might be a little bit basic. But it's basically like how you command a room, how you show up at work, how it's like your, again, confidence. She would always tell me, because we did like profile or personality like profiles or DISC assessments, stuff like that, which essentially looks into like your strengths and your weaknesses. And she would always tell me, she's like, you hesitate a lot. You have a lot of hesitation. And that's something that I've been working on, is just being more sure of myself. Yeah. Being more sure of my decisions. I would always tell people, I'm like, I don't make decisions. Like, because I'm always worried. I'm like, well, what if this happens, this happens, this happens? And I could never just like bang, make a decision. And that's the facilitator in me versus being the motivator. So I'm actually part of a coaching organization in real estate now, called Buffini, and they do this thing called the Real Strengths Assessment. And I'm like, this is the best thing. When I got involved with my current real estate mentor, he is like big in this Buffini coaching program for realtors. And he introduced me to this Real Strengths Assessment. And I was like, this is insane. This is literally, I've never been able to put into actual practical steps my work style, my personality. Like it tells you like your, so conversational, like, are you a facilitator or are you a motivator? So for example, in a real estate transaction, a facilitator would be someone more who's like asking questions to get your client to a decision, versus a motivator would be someone who's more like, this is what I recommend. So I was always more of a facilitator, as in I would always analyze and pick apart certain decisions and stuff like that, but never actually really like get to the point where like, okay, this is the right thing. So that was something that I really had to work on, because obviously in business, you can't be like that. You have to cut the cord at some point and make a decision, or you're never going to get anything done. Yeah, 100%. Being able to make decisive decisions. Like in my household growing up, there was a lot of indecisiveness, which I found really pushed me to like, when I make a decision, like that's it. Like I'm not not against you, but just indecisiveness. Yeah. I don't like it when people hem and they haw and they're just you know waiting around. Like like my time at Rogers will reflect that. We're like I always go for the kill. Like that's just my style and my personality. Like I'm a bold person. So like I'll ask for the business during a discovery call. Like that's generally how I would go. But that's awesome. And there's not really like any pros and cons to each. It's more figuring out how to like.
Well, it's you.
If you realize that you're more of a facilitator, well, there's pros and cons to a facilitator. There's pros and cons to a motivator. So so I've had to discover how to become more of a motivator. Yeah. Same thing with like communication style. So there's pragmatic and there's aesthetic. Aesthetic is very like they go on. There's a lot of detail. It's a very like flowery kind of conversation.
Yeah, a lot of fluff.
A lot of fluff. Pragmatic is like to the point. Sometimes it can come across as a little bit rude, a little bit bossy. I'm a very pragmatic communicator. I'm like, okay, what are we, like, I show up to a meeting, I'm like, what are we getting done today? What are the action items? Like, da, 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 da. Sometimes in meetings, people will, da, 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 and just like weigh out pros and cons and talk about different things. And I'm just like, let's get to the point. But there's like I said, there's pros and cons to each. And so I've had to learn as a pragmatic communicator how to communicate with aesthetic communicators. Because if I were to send an email and say, sure, sounds good, period.
So passive aggressive.
To an aesthetic communicator, they'd be like, what the heck? Like, is she mad at me? Is she mad at me? She's so meanwhile, I'm like, not mad at you at all.
You're probably smiling like, sounds
I'm
good.
Sure,
I'm
sounds
excited.
good. Yeah. So it's really interesting to learn the psychology behind all these different things.
100%. It really goes to show, and it's to the different people you're dealing with too, right? Like especially in real estate sales, like if you're dealing with someone who's a very, let's say they're an analytical person, engineer, well, just not generalizing, but someone's an engineer, they're very analytical. They like things done down to the T, whereas you work with someone else who's maybe more like me, who's a little bit more, I'd like to take my time, or I'm a little bit more go with the flow. Learning the different types of people that you're dealing with is super important to know what's going to motivate them to either sell or either buy, what's going to, create the sense of urgency that some people might have, or what's going to help, lower someone's sense of urgency, because it's always that fine balancing act of trying to figure out who you're working with, what you're going to be working with, and ultimately how to get that deal done. So and I know that you mentioned that the connection helped lead you to your first real estate mentor. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
So that still my first marketing client from grade 11. When I got into real estate, I started as my own independent agent. When you are 19 years old getting into real estate, please do not do that unless you have very obviously, like if your parents are in real estate or you have a lot of connections. There's a prior book. Almost, if you're just like me, like 19-year-old girl getting into real estate, trying to do it on my own, not a good idea. My first year was basically a wash. And I thought I had such high hopes for myself. It really it was a very tough year because I was like, well, I built this marketing company. Like, how hard can it be? Real estate is very different. Yeah. Very different. And so I was on my own, and I eventually got to the point after a year where I was like, hey, it's been a year. It's not going how I thought it would. I need to find a team. Like, I need to find someone who is going to actually show me how to do this right. Yeah. Thankfully, by the grace of God, my first marketing client and mentor is part of the Ottawa Executives Association. Okay, cool. There was another guy in the Ottawa Executives Association, Mark, who's my current broker and mentor, and he wasn't really looking to grow his team. So real estate teams it's interesting because a lot of the time real estate teams are very growth oriented. It's like, that's how team leaders make their money, right? Is off of their agents. Yeah. They decide, I'm going to make this team, I'm going to get as many agents as I can because then I make more money. Yeah. Mark runs a very different model. It's not like it's Mark and then it's all the agents under him. It's very much, we have our own individual businesses and we just kind of collaborate and help each other. And Mark just wants to mentor us. That's amazing. Which is amazing. And he wasn't really looking to grow his team too, because he was very picky about who joins his team because he's been in the business for 20 years. Like he's built a very strong brand for himself, very much like known for their integrity and professionalism. And he's like, he doesn't just let anyone join the team. It has to be a good fit. So he was like, but when my first marketing client told him to talk to me, he was like, well, if she tells me to talk to someone, I'm going to talk to someone. Oh, yeah. So that's how I got the first meeting with him. And then we kind of just clicked based on, honestly, values. Like, I'm huge on running a values-based business. I think that it gets you a lot further if you are just not an asshole. Yeah.
Not the whisper, you can say it.
Not an asshole. Running it for the right reasons. You're in it for the right reasons. You're not just trying to make money. You actually have a purpose behind what you're doing, and people see that. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That's one of my favorite things. That's because especially in real estate. It is a relationship business.
Yeah.
It is, you're not you can't sell people houses anymore.
Yeah.
You can't tell someone to like something they don't like. If I want a house with 2 bedrooms and you're trying to sell me a 4-bedroom house, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
I don't think that being a real estate salesperson is really sales. I think it's facilitating transactions.
Yeah.
It's obviously the expertise. It's educating people. It's being an advisor. It's giving them your professional opinions. But I'm never going to tell my client to buy a house that they can't afford.
Yeah.
Because I want to make money off of it.
That's how you become an asshole. And that's how you get a bad rep in the community as well. And then, you do one bad transaction with your brokerage.
Exactly.
And then, God forbid they don't want to work with you anymore. But like
exactly.
It's the realtor community in Ottawa is like, things get around very quickly.
Oh my gosh, it is. When I'm very much like, I kind of stay like, our team is also very much known for flying under the radar.
Yeah.
It's like we're just very professional. Like we do our jobs. We don't get involved in the drama and stuff. But like sometimes I'll hear stuff from other realtors and I'm like, what is going on out there? Like this is a whole new world. I'm going to stay over here in my little bubble. Yeah. I'll work with you when we need to do a deal together. But that's also like a huge advantage to, if you're a realtor and you have a bad reputation amongst other realtors, if I have someone coming to me and I know that they're known for whatever nickel and diming on inspections after when conditions are due and fulfilling conditions at the last minute and just doing poor business and transactions, I'm going to advise my clients and be like, hey, we have 2 offers. This one is the realtor that is known for nickel and diming on inspections. And this one is a really professional, great reputation, really great to deal with, probably has a better handle on her clients. Let's go with that one.
Yeah.
So your reputation in real estate is very, very important. 100%. And that was one of the main reasons I joined Mark's team, was because they have a very, very good reputation. Also, most of his team members, there's at the time it was, I think there were only 2 on his team, like officially on his team. Now we have Jenny, who does our admin as well, but she's also a salesperson. And then Sandy and Chris, who are a husband and wife team. But they all have been in the business for 10 years or more. So it's like I was the only new one. So it was great because not only was I getting help from Mark, but like Alyssa's helped me a lot, or other people on the team who've been in it for 10 years.
Yeah, and that's the best way almost when you're new is to build up your book and to build and to learn, from all these incredibly individuals, like the husband 100%. And wife team with all these different people. They're all probably good at something. Yeah. And being able to leverage their skills and, build this super real estate agent in the Ottawa area by taking skills from everybody that you know.
Well, that's my whole like strategy and philosophy. Even throughout even with starting my marketing company, was like, why would you steal someone else's 10 years? Yeah. Steal someone else's homework, Like, why would you rewrite the script if something's working?
Exactly.
Obviously, there's new things that come out all the time, and you want to be innovating and learning about new technologies and learning about new ways to do things. But there's a core in the foundation of every single business, especially in real estate. There's a core to what it takes to be successful in the business and build it in an ethical, values-based way. And why would you rewrite the script?
Exactly. And I think that speaks to your earlier point of the referrals base too, right? Because like anyone can go on Google and look at a Google review, but the only way to really hear how someone operates and how they work is by hearing it through other people.
Exactly.
Right? So if your reputation's spreading in a bad way, well, you don't want that. You want it to spread. You want people to say, Talia, she helped me buy my first home. She was absolutely great. Oh my God, you're looking to buy your first home? Check her out on Instagram, go look at her stuff. And then I can honestly, personally attest that she's great to work with. Like those are the things that you want to be spreading around. And I guess that kind of leads me into the next point I want to ask is, being a large referrals-based business, what's your approach to, fostering and, landing or keeping these relationships?
Yeah. And I think that it just going off of reputation and referrals is that there's nearly 4,000 realtors in Ottawa, part of the Real Estate Ottawa board. I couldn't remember if it was Ottawa or Ontario, but it's definitely Ottawa. It's definitely more in Ontario. So there's nearly 4,000 realtors in Ottawa, and the average realtor last year sold 3.4 homes, which is kind of a shocking statistic because at 3.4 homes, that's not a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that like, I'm not sure what the spectrum is.
That's not a lot. Okay. Like, we sold 131.
At your brokerage?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, no, not the brokerage, like just the team.
Oh, just the team.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So, and that's not, obviously, we don't say that to impress people. We say it more to impress upon people that like you really need to make sure that the person you're working with has a pulse on the market because a lot of people, and talking about reputation, realtors in general just don't have a great reputation. Yeah. A lot of people think realtors are slimy. A lot of people think realtors are just money hungry. They're transactional. They want to get the deal done. There are some out there that are like that. So it's not for nothing. But my favorite thing to do is just to surprise people. Yeah. Like my favorite thing to hear is, I don't know, for some reason people have this tendency to think that realtors don't work on weekends. And I'll have a client come to me and be like, is it okay, like, if we do a showing on Sunday? I'm like, I'm a realtor. Yeah. I was like, I hope you know, I work weekends.
Yeah, like most of them do.
Most realtors work weekends. But just like the level of service and, I mean, that's obviously not a good example because most realtors do work weekends, but certain things that I do in my business to surprise people and show them that like we do care, we go the extra mile is really how you build that reputation of like being excellent. The main thing for referrals is teaching your clients how to refer, telling them that you run a referral-based business. My business is, I'd say 95% referral-based. Wow. So we don't spend any of our marketing budget, any money on, like, you'll never see us on a bus bench. That's why I kind of say like we fly under the radar. Like we don't do, and it's kind of ironic because I also have a marketing agency, but like we are on social media because I think I was telling you before, like it's the price of admission. Like you got to be on social media these days. You got to have a presence. It's also more so to market our listings than it is to market ourselves. Yeah. So we don't spend a lot of money on marketing ourselves. We put all of that money into our clients. So we have like client appreciation events, which like we'll pay, and they're not like lame client appreciation events like, that no one wants to go to. It's like we'll pay for people at Christmas. We'll pay for their admission to Saunders Farm. Oh, so we do like a Saunders Farm event, Sugar Shack event in the spring. We'll do, and I think last year there was like 500 people at Saunders.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It was
do
magical.
I have to buy a home for you guys to get me in there?
You just have to be part of our client database.
Perfect.
So you just
sign me up.
Yeah. So even if you just refer someone, like I invited people to Saunders Farm last year that I've never sold their home yet, but I know that if they were to sell their home, they would use me.
Well, and that's the power of networking,
and they've referred me.
Exactly. That's exactly where I was exactly going. Is it's planting the seed.
Yeah.
For people.
And it's relational. So I always say there's kind of like two types of business models in real estate. There's transactional and there's relational. Yeah. Transactional, it works. There's a lot of people who make a lot of money off of transactional. It's not it's not a horrible business model. It just means that you are constantly having to replenish the pipeline. Yes. It's the people who are getting their leads online, the people who are just, they get a deal, and the second that they get that deal, before they've even sold the house, they're thinking about where their next deal is. And then there's relational, which is building more of a referral-based business. And to me, I like that more. It just aligns better with my values. I'm not really in real estate just because I want to make a ton of money. I'm in it because I want to impact and improve the lives and the communities we serve, which is our mission statement. And it's also just more sustainable. Yeah. Because it's like, it's so much energy to keep going out and trying to replenish the pipeline. And I do have to do that as someone who's starting out. It's important for me to do that. But learning how to just build referral-based business and build relationships with people, it's so much more rewarding because you actually get to connect with people on a different level. And when they're really happy with your work and they refer you to, it's like, it's the best feeling ever.
And your pipeline will just continue to grow.
And your pipeline just continues. It's like a tree.
Yeah, it does it. It honestly
literally
does
like
it
a
on
tree.
its own. Yeah.
Yeah, it does it on its own. And that's kind of like my goal with this is like eventually in whatever 20 years, like Mark is working with fourth generations right now. Like he's working with the initial clients, daughters, grandchild. Like
wow.
Crazy stuff. And so that's like my goal is that it's not a, we joke, it's like a cult. It's not a cult, but it's like a big family of just like everyone supporting each other. And like I put my heart and soul into my clients and that makes them want to continue working with me and to refer me.
Amazing. So it sounds like you've learned a lot in the past few years. Really, really like, it sounds like you're doing so many things right. What's one thing now that you've done this for a few years? What's one thing that you wish you would have maybe known earlier? If there is one, if there's not, that's totally fine.
So I kind of touched on it before, but don't rewrite the script. Like how I kind of started on my own. I would recommend when you're starting, either get a really good mentor who really cares about your success, or join a team.
Yeah.
The other thing would be back to basics. Like, as a Gen Z, I kind of was thinking, I'll just like get all this social media content out and do all this. And that's someone who ran a marketing agency. Like I know how to market myself. Real estate is very different. There are 3 questions that people need to know when they're hiring a realtor. Who are you? Are you any good? And can I trust you?
Yeah.
So when I'm initially meeting with a client, my goal is I need to answer those 3 questions that they don't even know that they have, but I know that's the 3 questions people need to know when they're hiring a realtor. So what I would say to anyone starting out in the business is go back to basics, calls, notes, and pop-bys.
Yeah. And this it just popped up for me.
Yeah.
Is it the inverse as well, where you have to, have you ever had to like reject a client maybe because you felt that they weren't acting in the best interest, or you didn't feel comfortable working with them?
Absolutely. Yeah. If I feel like there's been a lot of, I've seen Mark do it more, like my mentor do it more, just he's obviously had more years in the business. But there has been a time where I had to turn away a client because I just felt like they weren't my type of client. Like they were kind of edging on like wanting to offer on a property like $300,000 under the list price. And I was like, do you want this property? And it was more just like there was low motivation. Like I respect my time. I respect my work. I know the value that I bring. So I don't want to work with someone who doesn't want to work with me. So if I meet with someone and they're like, I don't need the business that bad. I want the business. That's a big thing that my mentor taught me is like, you want the business, you don't need the business. And that's one of the biggest shifts as well when I got into it, because obviously when you're starting in real estate, you want whatever business you can get.
Yeah.
But people can sense that. And if you're working with people and they can sense they're like, she's desperate. No one wants to hire someone who's desperate.
100%.
So it's like, you need to want the business, not need the business. And so if someone's like coming to me and they're like, want to see 6 properties, I show them 6 properties, and then they are like, because it's just a level of integrity. I usually have a good read on people. There hasn't really been many people that I've had to turn down because, like I said, a lot of it is referrals. But if I get like an online lead and someone's being really cryptic in their email or something like that, like as realtors, my number's everywhere. I get a lot of scams and stuff like that.
For sure.
So it's just integrity and like doing the right thing so that what's in your best interest, because my duty as your realtor is to protect your best interest. I have fiduciary duty to you, which is a legal term, which means essentially I need to protect your best interest.
You have to act with
confidentiality, like you come first. So if you're asking me to do something that I feel is damaging to our best interest as a team to working together, or something illegal or something like that, then obviously I would turn them away. So yeah, it really does go both ways. I personally haven't really had to turn many people down, like I said, because I work by referral. So usually, and this is something else that Mark would always tell me is, if you work with an asshole, they refer all their asshole friends. So he was like, don't work with them. If they're like a very difficult client and they are like, it's not worth it.
100%. And like, even I brought this up a few times back in my telecom days, like when I'd be dealing with someone, there was this guy, it was some sort of a private college or something in downtown Toronto. And we were trying to sell, the guy wanted a telephony, so it's office phones.
Yeah.
And they wanted fiber optic internet. So hop on the call, book the guy for the call. And again, I was new at the time.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. I'm getting on the call, a little nervous, obviously, because you want to do a good job. And so I hop on the call with the guy, and he's like, I was like, so sir, how's it going? Do like my little John intro. And then as I'm asking him about it, I'm like, so what kind of internet do you currently have? He goes, no. I want the best deal for the best price. And I'm like, okay, but do you want fiber optic internet? Do you want coax internet? Trying to get them the best service. And the guy's like, no. I want the best deal for the best price. And those are literally the same words he kept saying when I was trying to pry. So I'm like, all right, sir, I'll take this offline. I'll try and figure this out. And then about a week later, I'm like stressing because I'm like, the guy's giving me nothing. I have a proposal with him in a week or today, and I don't know. So I just call him off the cuff, and I'm like, so what kind of service do you have currently? Oh, well, we have fiber optic.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. So do we. We can offer it to you. So I talk to him over the phone, give him the price. The guy starts going off on me when I tell him the price, and he's like, oh, what the hell is wrong with Rogers? You guys are crazy.
Oh my God.
Why are you so much more expensive than everybody? And I was like, yeah, I don't think this is a good fit for us, sir. He goes, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, I don't think
it goes
that,
both ways.
Exactly.
You need to have mutual respect.
Exactly. I'm trying to do you a service and help you out, but you're just being an asshole to me.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm not going to do business with you. So I said, you know what? I don't think that this is a good fit for between the two of us. You are not treating with any respect. You can take your business somewhere else. And then he was just like, and I just hung up. And my manager was in the room when I did that. And he was like, that took some balls. He's like not everyone.
It's hard.
It is because
especially when you're young.
Exactly.
It's very, actually, now that I'm remembering. So it's funny that you say there has to be mutual respect, and the level of service that we're providing is like, and I feel like a lot of people don't really think of it this way, but you're hiring a professional. You're paying me for a reason. And I know that realtors get a reputation of getting paid too much to do too little. And they just list the house and do. That's not how I work. Some realtors can be lazy and can run their businesses that way. That's not how I work. I don't just list your house and hope it sells. Like that is not how I work. I'm very proactive. I do a lot of admin. I do a lot of legal contract writing and all of that. We are professionals. There's a reason you hired us for our expertise. It's like a lawyer or an accountant. You're not sitting in your lawyer's office arguing with your lawyer about about their experience and or what the law is. You know what I mean? So
you trust them because you know
trust
what they're
them,
doing.
and that's the thing. I want my clients to trust me. And if I have a client coming to me who's maybe a bit of a know-it-all, or maybe just doesn't want to listen to my advice, obviously it is a case-by-case basis. Like obviously there's times where if it's something that I'm like, okay, we might be able to get around with this, I'm gonna obviously do what my clients want and in their best interest. But if it's something that I feel is like completely, like if I do this, every realtor is gonna laugh in our faces. And we don't want realtors to laugh in our faces because they're the ones that are bringing buyers to your listing, or vice versa. Or if we offer this much, they're gonna laugh in our faces and tell us to go screw off. Yeah. So, and it's just, I want to, like, if someone is not willing to really respect my expertise and my professional opinion, that sometimes can be a problem. Yeah. Not one that I've really run into yet, though. So hopefully it doesn't happen. Yeah. People 100%. Usually tend to. It's mainly just people who have a really bad stigma around realtors who think like that.
100%. It's the same thing with the greasy sales guy who's trying to call me for cold calling me for my internet. Yeah. Like, and I think it's sales in general. People just always think that you're in it for the money, and like, it's a great way to make money, but it's not always just about money. That's one thing in today's hustle culture that I think a lot of people forget is like, it's relationships, it's, networking, making friendships. It's not just about the money. Not at all. It's like, I remember when I worked in telco sales, it was the rush when I'd get a DocuSign in a signed contract, it's like the hot damn, like, let's go. Like, it's the rush of the sell. It's not just the money, it's the job.
100%. I realized this when I was doing I was doing a deal last year, and I realized, I was like, wow, and this is what I love about real estate, because you get paid commission, right? You don't get a regular paycheck coming into your inbox.
Exactly.
So I'm like, I haven't even thought about the fact that I'm making money off this.
Yeah.
Like, I was doing deals, and I was like, wait, I haven't even thought about the fact that I'm getting paid to do this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think about the money at this point. Like, I always tell clients when I meet with them initially, I go, I want you to know, because like I said, answering the 3 questions. Who are you? Are you any good? Can I trust you?
Yeah.
I want them to know that they can trust me. So I'm like, respectfully, if we get an offer on your house and it's lower than what you are willing to accept because you're in a bad financial position or whatever, my next meal is not coming from you listing with me. Mm-hmm. So I'm not desperate to allow you to do something in this transaction that is not in your best interest. Mm-hmm. Respectfully, I will eat tomorrow, whether you choose to list with me or not. Yeah. So, and people are like, awesome. Like, that's what people want in a realtor. They don't want someone who's like desperate to get a deal done.
Yeah.
Because that you're not thinking about your client first. It always has to be client first. We're in the hospitality business. That's what I always tell people. This isn't a sales business, it's a hospitality business. You have to provide care, competent care and service to your clients.
Yeah, and 100% hospitality, because you're giving someone, you're finding someone their home.
It's
they're going to spend the next 30, 40, maybe even 50 years. Yeah. Maybe it's multi-generational, and you really have to tailor it to those people. So
it's an experience. And it can be stressful. A lot of people, it's their single largest financial asset, and we take that very seriously. So it's like, we are providing you with the proper advice, because that's why you're hiring a professional, because it's a very large asset. You want to make sure that you're making sound financial decisions. You want to make sure that it's protected. You want to make sure that you're getting the best price that you can out of it. You want to make sure that you have a good strategy. And a lot of people get very overwhelmed with it, but that's the care and service. If you are listing your house and you don't hear from your realtor for 2 weeks, which is very common, like, I send my clients weekly reports. If we have a listing on the market now, market's been a little bit crazy. I've also been listing a lot of great price point homes, so they have been going quicker. But for example, if there's a listing on the market for 30 days, I'm not in contact with my client for 30 days. I'm sending them biweekly or weekly reports of, hey, this is how many people have viewed your listing. This is how many realtors have showed your listing. This is the feedback. Yeah. It's about gathering feedback. It's about gathering data. This is like, we have hit counters, so we can see like how many people's portals has the listing hit, how many people have favorited the listing. If there's I can't see the name of the client, but I can see the name of the realtor who's liked the listing. So if I see that there's someone who's liked the listing and their realtor hasn't booked a showing, I'll call that realtor and be like, hey, I noticed that your client liked this listing. Any interest in booking a showing? And they're like, oh, I didn't even know that he was active. I'm like, you should totally text him and show this house, and then maybe let's sell it together.
And like giving them tangible data with like reports. Like, I think that's super important to show that, like you said, that you're working. You're not just, oh, it's up, my sign's out front, and then they never hear from you. Like, no, that's probably what gives people a bad rep. You have to be
proactive. Well, that's exactly, like, I don't blame people for having a bad reputation of realtors, because I work with them. Yeah. There are really good realtors out there, but there's also really bad realtors out there, and people who don't treat it like you can't do real estate part-time. You have to treat it like it's your full-time job. A lot of the time it's more than full-time, you got to go the extra mile, and you have to, because it's stressful for people. So my whole thing is, you have to educate people throughout it. You have to I want to make sure that my clients are educated throughout the whole process, so that I'm not the one making decisions. Yeah. They're making the decisions with me. Yeah. They know the reason why I say certain things. So like, when I have an intro to a client, or I get referred someone, or someone reaches out and asks to meet with me about listing or buying, first thing we do, and this is part of our systems, we sit down, we have a listing or a buying appointment. We go through, I have a document presentation, goes through the entire process, who we are, how we work, everything you need to know about buying or selling a house, goes through the entire process. We sit down with them, probably takes maybe like an hour. And that is like the biggest thing that has helped me grow my business, because not a lot of people do that. A lot of realtors are like, hey, you want to buy a house? Okay, let's go see some. I'm like, no, let's sit down.
What do you want?
What are you looking for in a realtor?
Yeah.
Why did you choose not to list with the realtor that you bought with?
Mm-hmm.
How can I best serve you? Any fears or concerns? A lot of the times, people aren't used to actually being like their realtor sitting down with them for an hour, going through, educating on the process. The other thing is paperwork. Like there's a lot of paperwork that you have to sign when you're buying and selling a house. And a lot of people don't explain the legal, like there's clauses, there's pre-printed clauses, and you also have to add clauses in the Schedule A, which is an attachment to your agreement of purchase and sale. A lot of people don't take the time to actually go through and explain all of that to your clients. Even clients that, if I've worked with them before, they're like, Kelly, we already like when I'm like, give me half an hour over Zoom. Yeah. We're going through this, because I don't want you to come back to me and say, oh, I didn't understand that. Or I didn't get explained that. We want to really mark, this is something that like non-negotiable on our team. Like when I joined the team, Mark was like, you do this, non-negotiable. If you don't explain the paperwork to your clients, like that's because he was saying how he was at a conference a few years ago. And it was like invite only, top salespeople in North America got invited to this conference. I think it was in Vegas or something. And the leader of the conference was like, okay, who here explains every single clause of the contract to their clients before signing? There were 5 people who raised their hands. So he always tells me that story, and he's like, this is the most important thing, because it's large financial asset, it's a legal contract, people want to know what they're signing. That's how you build trust.
Yeah, and it's also protecting your reputation as well too, because you're showing them that you really do care, because I know we've been through this before. I know it's boring, but I still, like, out of my duty to you, need to do this. So that's ideally what I would be looking for in a realtor. Someone doing little stuff like that just to show how much you care. And it shows that you
actually also know what you're doing.
Exactly, yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm sure there's people out there who are writing up these contracts, and there's pre-printed clauses and don't even know what half of them mean. So it also just shows like, hey, I know what you're signing to, so I can best advise you. So it's just a level of, it should be bare minimum, but unfortunately it's not.
Yeah, it's awesome to hear about all the different things that you do to be able to show your clients, because like me, when I worked at Rogers, it was on Zoom because I was an inside account executive. So I would be through Zoom, and you can't really like show them that you care that much, because you're just, at the end of the day, you're reporting, in a big machine like that. So many numbers are being looked at, reporting, that it almost becomes transactional at a certain point, because you're just trying to get through it, and then you're trying to, get the sale. I'm not saying that's always what happened, but a lot of the times that's what can happen. So taking the time to, walk someone through, like that was the same thing for us. Whenever we were doing a contract, we would always walk them through the contract and explain to them, all their terms and conditions. If let's say your company goes belly up and you need to get out of your contract, here's how you do it. Here's your buyout penalty. Here's what you would forfeit. Here's, what you'd have to pay back, what you have to return. So it's super important to be able to, like, that little step, because it's the most important part too, is the signature, right? Because number one, you're closing the deal, and number two, like, they are committing for however long to that, right?
And a lot of the times, like, my whole goal when I'm talking to people too and advising on real estate is to answer the questions they don't know that they have. Because a lot of the times people will say, oh, I know, it's fine. Like, it's just an agreement of purchase and sale, like standard contract to buy a home. And then I'll go through and explain it, and they'll have questions and questions and questions. And I'm like,
this is why we do this.
This is why we do this. This is why we review this together. And they're like, oh, thank you. So, that's it. And I think that kind of to your point of like, it's hard to be relational sometimes in a sales role. I think it depends too on the business, because obviously, like, when you're in a sales position, just selling a software or something.
Yeah, or serve. Yeah,
it's a little bit different than being actually like I have a representation agreement with this client, and like it's more of a I have a legal obligation.
You have a few more legal obligations than I did for sure.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. And I mean, like, you're a full-time realtor, but you're also still running your agency, your digital marketing agency.
Yes.
How do you find the balance between the two?
Yeah. So I would say, real estate is my main focus. Like, that's my full-time. Like I said, I don't think you can do real estate part-time. I think if you're in real estate, you have to give it your all. So that's what I do. I give real estate my all. It's my full-time thing. However, with a little bit of spare time that I have also been able to keep my marketing agency going just through systems and like having it set up so that I maybe like on the weekends will do some work, evenings and weekends I mainly am just focused on the content at this point because it's referral based. So I do initial meetings with clients. I create the content, but then I have systems in place so that it kind of runs itself in between.
That's amazing. And so you touched lately on, the spare time as some of the systems. But what are the main systems and tools that you use to help you?
So like content scheduling. So if I have like a contract for like 12 social media posts for a client, I will take I'll take a few days at the beginning of the month, do that, schedule it, and then I don't have to like go on my phone and post and do all that stuff for the rest of the month.
Yeah.
So content scheduling is a big system. One of my biggest systems is just my calendar, is just time blocking. Like, people don't realize how productive you can be if you just block off. I'm a big fan of what I call deep work sessions, which is basically like sit down for 2 hours, no phone, just no notifications, everything on Do Not Disturb. Just sit down for 2 hours and you'll be amazed at how much you can get done.
Yeah.
We're so distracted nowadays.
100%. That's the biggest thing, is people are so distracted these days.
Yeah.
And it really, like, even I grew up, like, I'm not that much older than you, but like back in my day,
oh gosh.
It's just, I've always had attention problems, and I just find it's been so much to the nth degree now because of my phone that like there'll be some times where like I'll be working for WorkAway, like I'll be working on social media, like in Canva, just designing a post or whatever, and I'll just find myself like on my phone, like I won't even notice it, but I'll be typing away, and then like I'll just go over and like change like the podcast that I'm listening to on YouTube. And I won't even like consciously do it. It's just like become such a thing now where it's just like, it's definitely taking a toll.
Yeah. No, I struggle with that a lot as well. And I would say like for that, main like time blocking has been amazing. Because the other thing that I'm very intentional is about being where I am. Like, I love this saying. It's like, be here, be there, but don't be both. Like, if I'm working on my marketing content, I'm working on my marketing content. If I'm working in real estate, I'm working in real estate. Now, obviously, if I'm working on my marketing content, I get a call from a client that I'm like, I put my real estate clients first, but I'm able to do that because of the way that I've set up the marketing systems, so that my marketing clients don't feel like they're getting they're getting half of me. Like, I want everyone to be able to get all of me. But I prioritize in my marketing business, like I'm just doing the content and the initial calls. And then if I need to, sometimes I've offloaded things to like freelancers or outsource things. It always goes through me because I want to be that point of quality control, making sure that it's on brand with the brand that I've built myself. Because that's a big thing that I've struggled with delegating, and I've struggled with, I think my marketing company I could have scaled it more than I've scaled it to date if I would have delegated more. But truthfully, it's a weakness for me because I'm very controlling of my brand, and I also don't want to micromanage people. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't want to like delegate something to someone and be like, oh, I actually don't like the way that you did that. Yeah. So that's something that I'm currently navigating through, because I am getting a lot more referrals for marketing, and I've had to turn some down. which is hard for me to do because I don't like turning down.
Yeah,
people,
100%. Well, yeah, like but that's it.
But I
sometimes you just don't. You can't take it on.
If it gets
your capacity too, like you don't want to burn yourself out because you have so much going on.
Yeah.
Right.
And if I get to the point where it's like if I ever get to a point where having a marketing agency on the side is hurting my real estate business, I can't.
Yeah.
Like I really take my clients seriously. So
well, and that's amazing to hear. And like having the balance. Do you find that having a marketing agency gives you an edge in real estate?
For sure. I think it really helps in terms of the brand development. I mean, obviously social media and all of that is great. I think it's going to change as Gen Z starts buying homes. I think it's going to change. I think that people are going to start looking to social media for realtors. Yeah. As of right now, I think it's still very much a basics relationship business, and the social media is the component to it. So the marketing part in terms of building the brand has been very, very helpful. But when it comes to actually getting leads, the best way to do it is just to go out and talk to people. And face-to-face interaction, the handwritten notes, the pop-bys, the calls, that kind of stuff is what's going to really get it. But then if you're going out and talking to someone, you're like, hey, I'm a realtor, and they look online and they're like, she doesn't even have an Instagram. Like,
yeah, exactly, exactly.
That's where the marketing comes in. And then obviously like SEO and stuff like that for our website and that kind of stuff has been really helpful to have a background in that because a lot of realtors don't really know about that. So being able to like know the keywords to get your listing seen more and stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%. That's it sounds like it's just amazing that you have the balance of both too, because in this digital age, like you said, with Gen Z, it's going to be the way of the future.
Yeah.
Like I know, for example, I have a friend who she started seeing this guy and I was like, oh, like what's his name? Like I'm gonna look up on Instagram, and he doesn't have Instagram.
Yeah.
That like you're like in
Honestly,
our generation, you're kind of like, that's kind of weird that you don't like, you're not online. You know what I mean?
Sometimes I'm like, I just want to throw my phone out the window. Like sometimes I like love to, but for work, it's very important.
Yeah. I've even debated getting a flip phone.
Yeah.
Like genuinely just debated something that if you want to talk, because I also just hate texting.
Yeah.
And like, I just find
I'm the same.
Like,
and my generation is the worst for that.
Yeah.
I have a friend who will never, like, if I call her, she will not pick up. She will never call me.
Yeah.
She's like, I hate talking on the phone. It gives me anxiety. I hate phone talk. I'm like, we could not be more opposite.
Yeah.
I can't text like that. Like,
I hate it. Like, I'm only 27, but like, if you want to talk to me, give me a call. Like, that's how I judge how you're feeling, how I'm feeling, how the conversation's actually going. Then like, you know, just send like I all my friends hate it too, because I'm the most dry texter, because like, like I'm the same. Why'd you just say LOL? I thought it was funny. They're like, no, if you send it in all lower cases, then that means that you're upset. I'm like, dude, like, no, I'm not upset with you. Maybe if you called me, like when I called you, then we could chat about it and have a good conversation about it. But
I'm also like always in the car, so my friends know if I'm because I'm always driving.
Yeah.
So they're like, you're going through your contact list again, aren't you? Because I'll sit in the car. I'm like, I've listened to this same playlist on repeat for like the past week because I'm always driving. I'm like, I'll just go through my contact list, call, no answer, call, no answer, call. And they're like, like, why are you calling me? I'm like, they're like, it's 1 p.m. Like, I'm like, I'm just driving to a showing. No, I'm a yapper on the phone for sure. Yeah.
That's it's the best. It's like, I feel like texting and stuff like that too is just like destroying so many relationships, because it's not like, it just seems disingenuous sometimes. Yeah. Right? Like it's not, you're not talking to a person, you're not getting their feeling. Yeah. It's through a screen that you're receiving it and you're sending it, right? Yeah. So like it's taking the emotion almost out. Yeah. Which I know is a struggle with a lot of people these days, but yeah. Anyways, not to go depressing. No. But I mean, you chose entrepreneurship over university as well. What led you to make that decision, and how has it shaped your outlook?
Yeah. So this is something I've been working through because I often feel like I've noticed how it has affected, and we talked about like presence in the beginning and being confident in your abilities and showing up kind of authentically. And I think the fact that I didn't go to university kind of affected that because I always thought of myself as lesser than. Mm-hmm. So it was originally it was kind of a shock to everyone that I didn't go because in high school, I was like teacher's pet, very academic. I graduated with like a 96. Like I was
honor roll student.
Got in. So it was so funny. This is like classic, like perfectionist overachiever. I'm working on it. But when I was applying to universities, basically what I did is I just looked up, I went, best business schools in Canada, lowest acceptance rate. And then obviously it was UBC, Sauder, Queen's Commerce, and then like Western Ivy. So I just applied to all three. And I got into UBC. So then I was, shipped all my stuff over to Vancouver, got into registered for my courses the day before my flight to actually bring myself there. I had I don't even remember it honestly, but I just decided, I was like, I'm not going.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to take a gap year. I need to take a year off because I felt like I had my whole life, I was just graduating high school, but at that time, it feels like you've lived your whole life. You know everything. I felt like I had always done things because it was what you do. Like it was just you're following the steps and doing and
it's what you're told to do.
It's what you're told to do. You're told that if you want to be successful, you go to university. If you want to be really successful, you go to best business school in Canada.
Yeah.
I was
with the lowest acceptance rate.
Yeah, with the lowest acceptance rate. And so basically what I did is I deferred my offer. And I think my reasoning around it was very much I was also, like I said, I was learning a lot on YouTube from these different entrepreneurs. And they were all like, you don't need a university degree to do this. You don't need a university degree to start a business. You don't need a university degree to, and I had learned that because I had been running my own marketing company and I had built that to the point where I could live off of that. And so I kind of looked at that as kind of like a case study of well, I did this with not even a high school degree or diploma or whatever. So I was like, I really don't need to go to university right now. Why would I spend $100,000 to get a degree that I'm not really going to use when I know that what I want to do is work for myself? And I mean, this is the other thing that a lot of people will say, I want to work for myself because I never want to rely on anyone else for income. And I used to think that when I first started my company, because I was like, I don't want to rely on anyone for income. I don't want to work for anyone else. I think you're always relying on people for income. Even 100%. When you're an entrepreneur, you're relying on people for income because you're relying on your customers. Yes, if you're not an entrepreneur and you're working for someone else, you could lose your job any day. But when you're an entrepreneur, you could lose your clients any day. You could. It's just you have more agency over it.
Yeah.
I think the only guaranteed money-making thing that is money-making variable in your life is your skills.
Yes.
So if you just so that was kind of my mentality is why don't I just learn skills that make money instead of learning theory.
Learning how to work for someone else.
Learning theory and learning Shakespeare or whatever. And then, but it's not I'm anti-university at all. I think that for some people it's great. And I've debated going back.
Yeah.
But I think for me, for what I wanted to do, I was I kind of just want to see. It was honestly just a risk. There wasn't a lot of calculation behind it. It was kind of just.
But hey, it's like we talked about earlier.
See what happens.
It's like we talked about earlier, where it's that nervousness and wanting to do it, and then just making the decision. You made the decision, you did it, and it's paid off for you.
Yeah, and it's not I can never. If I decide, one day I want to. If I doubt this will ever happen, but if I wake up one day and I'm I want to be an accountant, I can always go back to university. Yeah. It's not you're never too old to start over. But I deferred my acceptance letter, and then I was going to go back the next semester. I was just I'm taking a little gap semester. And then I just deferred it again. And then I started working for a realtor in marketing. And I was like, oh, I really like this real estate stuff. So then I went and I did the Humber 2-year program to get my license. And
here we are.
Never looked back. Here I am.
Yeah, 100%. It isn't for everybody, but like me personally, I am not structured enough to learn stuff online.
Well, that's the thing.
I need to be in a classroom, and I need to be asking. I need someone physically to be there. I need to be asking questions, looking at your reaction. It's crazy. I'm like, I need to be in somewhere talking to people. Like even when it comes to like shopping online.
Yeah.
I'm a huge bricks and mortar guy. Like it's a dying industry.
I wish I had that problem.
It's the online.
It's the online shopping. It gets me every time.
But like I like being out talking to people. I like talking to people.
You're a face-to-face
Exactly.
person.
I just like interact. I like interaction.
That'll get you far.
Yeah.
It'll get you far because a lot of people are not like that anymore.
Yeah.
So I think that's a lost skill too, is the face-to-face interaction. But I think that university is, like you said, like I chose the hard route and I learned that, especially in the past, I would say the first 2 years of like trying to build my business were very, very difficult. And I learned the hard way and I was like, but there isn't like, I don't have a degree. I don't have something to fall back on. I have my skills though, and I have myself. That's the one thing that you'll always have to fall back on is your skills. So that's why I tell people like, just have a marketable skill.
Yeah.
But I think that university is great for people, if you don't know what you want to do and you're trying to like learn different things, that's great. Take different courses. If you're trying to become a doctor or a lawyer, like
you have to.
I really hope that my surgeon goes to university.
And a reputable one too, not one in Guadalajara or somewhere.
Yeah. Or if you're someone who just like, I was someone who could motivate myself. Like I could get out of bed, I could make my schedule, I could write down the task. Like this is what I have to do today. If you're not someone who can do that, there's a lot of other places that I'm really bad at, but that just happens to be my strength.
Yeah.
But it's like you kind of just have to figure out your strengths and your weaknesses, and then figure out a plan that's best for you.
Like I went to school for business marketing here at Algonquin in Ottawa, and it's funny enough. The other day, we're doing a survey here at WorkAway.
Okay.
And in school, a big part of it is learning to develop your own data through surveys. So I look at Dan, who's the man behind the camera, and he looks at me. He's like, "So this is a $10,000 survey, eh?" And I'm like looking at him like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Well, that's how much it costs you to get your diploma, and you're 5 years out of school just now using it." Because I've always worked in sales. I went to sales instead of marketing after school.
Okay.
So it's just funny. It's just funny that he's like, "Here's your $10,000 survey. Let's see how it goes."
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I'm a big person. Like I'm a big believer in like everything happens for a reason. So like you go, whatever I don't think that people should regret going to university because they're not necessarily using it, because you're obviously learning. I'm sure you met people. That's another big thing. University is great for like meeting your network and the experience.
Whole college experience too, right? Like
but I definitely think degrees are overvalued right now.
Sure.
And it's going, like I've spoken to, even like at the last OBC networking event, I was talking to someone who owns a really big company, and I was like, "What's your hiring process like?" Because I'm always so interested in hearing people's like what they look for when they're hiring. I think that is so interesting to me because everyone has different answers, and I always love. I don't know. I just love to see it. So I was like, "What do you look for when you're hiring?" And he didn't mention a degree once.
Yeah.
There's like skills, the ability to learn, and the fact that you want to learn and grow.
Yeah.
I think that if you are resourceful in life, in anything you do, if you just have resourcefulness, like when I have kids, that is the number one skill that I'm teaching them is just be resourceful, figure it out. Because I think a lot of times, and I'm not a parent, so I'm not talking about parents.
It's through experience.
It's
what you want, right?
I think like, I see the product of sometimes people not allowing their kids to be resourceful. And then you really need to build that skill in life, because that's how you get to your goals is you have to figure out how to overcome obstacles, how to find ways around it, stuff like that. So if you grow up and you've never had to do that, then It's tough.
Yeah. 100%. Learning how to fight for yourself when your mom's been doing it your whole life because you didn't make a sports team. 100%.
Yeah.
Now, talking about your businesses and like, you know, some of the risks involved between, you know, being a realtor, you know, your own marketing agency, how do you approach it when it comes to building these, like your client lists and, you know, your marketing agency?
How do I approach building the business or approach risk?
Risk, sorry.
Okay. It's, you know, you hear a lot that the key to success is to fail faster. It's a lot easier said than done, though. Like I listen to a lot of podcasts, listen to a lot of entrepreneurs, and like try to learn from them and big people out in the world that. And a lot of the times they have these catchphrases, and I'm like, yeah, but when you actually get down to putting it into practice, it's a lot harder than you think it is. Taking a risk is a lot harder. Like I was saying how I'm looking to kind of expand my marketing to like hire people or outsource things so that I don't have to put as much time into it. That's a risk, though. I might not get my ROI on that. I might hire someone or outsource something, and it would be horrible work, and I'm out however much money, and I don't get that money back. Like I approach risk in a way of how much do you have to lose? That was really like when I got into real estate and when I stayed in real estate, because there was a time when I told you I was first starting and it really wasn't going well. And I was like, I felt like a failure and I was going to leave the business because I was like, I can't remember the exact percentage, but there's some statistic where like, I think it's like 1 in 3 realtors that get into the business leave within the first 2 years.
Really? And
I was like, I'm about to be that statistic. Like I'm ready to get out of here. I'm going to university. I'm becoming I'm going to work a 9 to 5. My friend looked at me. She's like, you will never work a 9 to 5. It's so, sometimes like, one time we were in the car and I'm talking to my friend. She works like corporate, like 9 to 5. Very, like she loves corporate though. It's like she thrives on it.
Yeah.
But I look at her, I go, so you just like sit at a desk from like 9 to 5 and you do the same thing every day? And she looks at me, she goes, yes, that's a job. And she's like, I can't believe you were ever considering doing that. Yeah. She's like, you would die. So what even was I taught? Risk, right? Yeah. So I would say I had nothing to lose at that point because I was like, I can quit, but I was 20. I don't have kids or a family to feed.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Do it like it's the time to do it is now.
Yeah.
All, right?
So if I just keep pushing it. And a lot of the times you like the second when I just got over that hump, that 2-year hump was like, boom, everything exploded and started doing well. So a lot of the times the risk can either be, sometimes it's risky to stay in something than it is. Like a lot of people think of risk as like doing something, taking a big leap. Sometimes the risk can just be staying in something too.
Yeah.
And I approach it just by looking at because everything you say yes to, you're saying no to something else. And everything you say no to, you're saying yes to something else. So I look at risk as like, okay, if I do this, what am I saying no to?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think we're coming up to time here. So I just have one more question for you to ask you, and we'll leave it on this note. But if you had to give some young entrepreneur some advice that you know, starting their journey, what would that be?
So the number one piece of advice, and this isn't just for entrepreneurship, this is just in life, is my dad gave me this advice when I was pretty young. I think I was like 10. And he would always tell me, don't be a victim. Don't play the victim. And that's been in the back of my mind for my whole life now. And I think that leads into resourcefulness, what we were talking about. And I think that just when you understand that you are responsible for your own life, yes, there's things that can happen to you that are out of your control, but you're responsible for your reaction to that. And you have agency over your life. That is probably the best piece of advice that really changed things for me.
That's a great piece of advice.
Because it's like, well, you're in control. Obviously, like I said, outside circumstances happen, but you control how you react to things as well.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome advice.
And don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
It can get you really far. We didn't even touch on networking, like networking and like knowing the right people, being nice to people gets you really far. It does. You don't have to be that smart. You just got to be nice to people.
Fake it till you make it, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Talia, for coming on the podcast today. We really appreciate it. If you want to look in the camera and plug your Instagram.
Hello. It's Ottawa Property, or Ottawa_property is my my real estate Instagram. And then my personal is just Talia80.
Perfect. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Thank you.
No worries. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.